Hello and welcome to the Powerfish podcast. I'm Fish.
And I'm Ben. Today, I actually wanted to throw it back to
You can throw it back all you want.
I'll throw it back, whip it round, and twist it merry-go-round.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
So, our very first episode ever, we did Should Parents Monitor Their Social Media?
That was not our first episode ever, but okay.
So, our second episode ever.
It's our second episode ever.
Should parents monitor their social media? And pretty inconclusive episode, if I must say so myself.
Sure.
Not much was... Go listen to it. You'll learn maybe nothing. So, there's a headline here that I'm going to read, and then I'm going to get into the article. But headline, Australia plans a minimum age limit for social media use. Which is very interesting.
That is very interesting.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said his center-left government would run an age verification trial before introducing age minimum laws for social media, but he didn't specify an age, but did say it would likely be between 14 and 16, which the only number between there is 15.
So 14, 15, or 16.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I would probably minimum age. I don't know. I'd probably say like 15 or 16. I wouldn't say 14, but regardless, it's interesting because he's coming at it from pretty much the same angle that we attacked social media from in that episode, which is just like a mental health and a stunting development perspective.
Right.
But let's see. Yeah, some other people don't like this. It says, here's a quote from some fucker. This knee-jerk move threatens to create serious harm by excluding young people from meaningful, healthy participation in the digital world, potentially driving them to lower quality online spaces, said Daniel Angus. I think that's kind of a stupid take.
Well, okay, to play devil's advocate, to be fair to this gentleman. I don't know about that last thing, driving them to unhealthy online spaces or whatever, but the first part, denying them part of the digital space. I mean, that was part of our argument for it, wasn't it? That
okay, so his argument is denying meaningful, healthy participation in the digital world. You can do that completely void of social media.
True. Depends on really what they constitute as social media, I guess.
I think in here, Australia doesn't say specifically in the article, from what I can tell.
Because I mean, are we just talking like Twitter and Facebook, or are we talking like Steam as well, or not Steam? I'm sorry, Discord. Like,
that's surely not. Discord's not a social media.
Well, but I mean, it's online chat. See, that's where I would draw a line. I don't. If you were to go past that line, then now you just can't communicate. But if it's like traditional,
I mean, people have phone numbers.
True.
You can communicate the same way we always have when we had phones before social media.
That's lame, though.
That's a stupid argument.
Well, it's mostly a joking argument. However, my overarching point being, I would like to see the parameters of this. What are we actually talking about as far as social media goes?
I agree.
Stupid.
More details. It says 3/4 of Australians from 12 to 17. 3/4, age 12 to 17, have used YouTube or Instagram.
Oh shit! Is that YouTube too?
I don't know. It doesn't say what it's restricting. It just used YouTube and Instagram as part of a thing. See, I don't know if I don't think I should. I don't think YouTube should be grouped into that.
I don't like that. Great.
Granted, I mean, YouTube comment sections can be just as toxic as any, but like, I don't think that that's
I mean, that's like the whole argument, isn't it? Like, we want the kids off social media, but then also in the same exact argument when we talk about learning development, it's just like, oh, you can get everything you want on YouTube. Well, if we're classifying YouTube as a social media, then we're also classifying it as an education outlet.
yeah. I don't think YouTube should be a part of that. Again, I don't. It doesn't specify. It doesn't specify much. Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, I think it will be because there's quotes from these companies statements, I guess. Doesn't say who actually says them, but it says Meta, owner of Facebook and Instagram, which has a self-imposed, but not, this is me speaking here, but not enforced, but self-imposed minimum age of 13, said it wanted to empower young people to benefit from its platforms and equip parents with the tools to support them instead of just cutting off access. And
Right.
Alphabet, owner of YouTube, did not respond to a request for comment, and TikTok was not immediately available for comment. Okay, so basically the only comment we got was from someone at Meta. Interesting.
That is interesting.
I think it, again, I don't think YouTube should be clumped into this, which based on context clues here, I think it will be.
So where's the line here? Let me ask you this now. Where do you draw the line between entertainment and social media?
Social part?
But YouTube is both of those
Yeah,
things.
but the only social part you get out of that is the comments, which is like a fraction of the percentage of.
Well, okay, but
YouTube's
you
users.
can scroll Twitter and watch videos posted by users on Twitter, and
Yeah,
they
but
have
the
comments
primary-
beneath them.
Yeah, but the primary function of the platform is social interaction. That's not the primary function of YouTube. Like I said, commenters are a small fraction
I
of
don't
YouTube.
know. I think a
people.
comments section on a YouTube platform is a big part of the community.
No, it's not. There's
Certainly that is
always no, it's not. If you look at the views on a video, I've never seen more than like 10% of the views of a video in comments ever.
Okay, sure, but but if we were to look at analytics on a social media platform and somebody posts a picture of something, how many people see that picture and then don't comment? It's the same thing.
But that's not the. I guess, yeah. I guess.
Yeah,
I guess.
I'm certainly not wrong here. You in your over the top reaction. If you go on social media, generally speaking.
Whoa! You're over the top reaction.
Yes.
You sit the fuck right down on a fucking tack. Why don't you?
I won't be sitting down. I have a standing
over the
desk.
top react.
What did you say to me? What did you say to me? You tell me what you said to me because I can't be bothered to remember. But it was over the top.
No, I don't even know. You did this when we started arguing about fucking, what even was it? Right, when you called out basic people and phones.
Well, because
you did this too.
No. This is not the same thing. Because what had happened was all I said was I think comments are a big part of YouTube and the YouTube community, and you said no, it is not. That's what you said. That's an over the top reaction. No, it's not.
Okay, I didn't say it like that. I simply said I don't think that it is.
To God, dude, that is how you said it. But whatever.
No, it's okay.
Point being,
moving on.
Your reaction was over the top, and you're wrong.
No,
also.
It wasn't. I don't think you joined Twitter to. I don't think the majority of people that join Twitter or X are joining it for content consumption reasons alone. I think the majority of people that are signing up for a YouTube account are.
I mean, it depends on how you define content. Because if I see, something that a creator posted on Twitter, granted, I don't use Twitter, but something a creator posted, or even
Me
just
neither.
like a text blurb or something to you that is a something that you could react to, there's going to be a lot of people that see it, digest it, and move on. That's very similar to just watching a YouTube video and then not joining the community and typing in the
Yeah,
comments.
but with a YouTube video, there's no option to retweet and comment or retweet on your own channel with a statement about it, like there is on Twitter, for example.
Not
Twitter
not the
is
same exact
formatted.
situation, no.
Yeah,
But
it's formatted and built in a way that promotes interaction between its users. YouTube is not built that way. It is built to serve videos to people. It's
and
not
then
built to promote the interaction between the people watching it.
but it's social anyway.
For a fraction of the users, yeah, in the comments.
I think your argument's dumb
Why?
because I was trying to draw a line between entertainment based and social media based, and then you're just telling me that YouTube is not a social platform.
I'm saying it's not social media. It's
And
certainly a lot less
and I
social of a
agree
platform
with that.
than.
And that's the thing is I agree with that. But I do not agree with that. I don't know. Your whole argument of like what is and isn't social media is it's weird. Like, okay, it's social, and you're responding to something, a piece of content, and you're talking about it amongst yourselves with other commenters. That's social, and it's I think in a lot of ways social media.
So why don't you think it's social media?
I don't know. I think I would still draw a distinction, but just I don't like your
But
reaction. It's the only thing.
why though? What is differentiating YouTube from being social media?
What I think it is I think it's all social media. Let me just retract everything because let me just think about that for a minute. I think it's all social media, and I think you making the whole trying to make a distinction is stupid. And I think if Australia wants to do this, they got to ban it all, burn it.
So YouTube is social media in your mind.
I think it becomes not worthwhile to try to differentiate the two. I think it's social, and I think it's maybe not at its forefront purpose, but it is definitely a engaging community aspect.
Okay, so why should they not take down forums then?
That's the same. That's the same thing. Forums
So you
are.
think they should take down forums?
I don't think they should necessarily do any of this. I'm saying if they go through with what they said, they will have to if they want to follow the letter of what they're putting down.
Okay, so you think them right, I get that you don't really know if they should or shouldn't be doing this, but you think if they are standing by their social media approach, they should also group forums in with that because it's not worth trying to differentiate. Is what you're getting at here.
I don't know how you differentiate it. That's the thing is I don't even know how you do that. It's like text-based threads that can respond to things and you can talk individually with individual people online. That is both a forum and Twitter. Honestly, Twitter is a lot like a forum in certain aspects with certain other
Yeah.
features. Yeah, I don't think it's particularly different.
So you class forums as social media.
Probably. It's pretty similar. Similar things are often similar things.
I would say it's certainly missing the media part of that to a substantial degree, but
That's
unless
the
you talk about a handful of sub forums on Reddit.
Yeah, that's kind of where my mind went. Generally speaking, it's like I don't know. I think it also depends on how you classify media. Is it like simply a content based reaction, or is somebody
Media is not the same thing as content.
right?
Media is it's visual, it's audio, video, picture. It is not, yeah, it's a media. It's not a content. A content can be
Well, content can
like
also be any of the
damn
any of
near
those
anything.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, content is a much more, it's a much wider net than media is.
Well, if somebody, let's say this, somebody goes on a platform, whether it be a forum or whatever, and says something, and then now people respond to that, are they responding to media?
No, because it's not media. They didn't post media.
Oh, no, I get that. I get that. But what is the benefit of drawing a distinction between the two for this Australia banning purpose? Because what are they trying to limit the youth's access to?
I mean, based on the article, it's impossible to say anything closer to anything more than just social media. Specifically,
Right. My point being,
at least we have. Go ahead.
trying to draw a distinction between a forum and social media to see whether or not one should be eliminated from the other. My question would be, what does social media have that a forum doesn't that would make a forum better than social media and therefore okay?
Um, a, a social media has a very aggressive algorithm, infinite scrolling, recommendations, a lot. I would say a significant amount.
I mean, you could make a forum platform that does a lot of those things. I would say Reddit is a good example of that.
I would say Reddit is the closest thing and an outlier for sure. But still, even the most media centric and recommendation based infinite scroll of Reddit isn't, I mean, it's not Instagram.
and you can absolutely like infinitely scroll on, well, no, yeah, that's fair. You can infinitely scroll on a forum. You just go look at users'
Okay,
posts.
yeah. But my point is, it's not, the algorithm isn't procedurally generating things that are designed to grab your attention the most and keep you on the app. Reddit being
So the problem
a,
is the algorithm. That's your issue that you're taking with.
I would say it's part of it, yeah.
I would say that could maybe be a small part. I don't necessarily
The
think.
small part? How is that a small part?
I don't necessarily
It's
think
the difference between you leaving the app and not.
because they serve you content that you are more likely to want to see.
Yeah. Yes, that's
How do
that's
you?
the entire point.
How
You
is
get
that?
addicted to these apps.
I think it goes back to the question of: would you rather see things you want to see, or be served a random pile of disconnected stuff?
Well, it's not even just things that you want to see. It's things that are going to keep you on the app. Not everyone wants to see, like, I don't know, execution videos on Reddit. But the amount of times that it recommended to me the Darwin Awards subreddit, which is literally just people dying, is crazy. I don't want to see that, but goddamn, it's like a guy jerking off in a freaking fast food restaurant. You can't just not look at it. It's hard to turn away from.
I mean, I feel like I could turn away from that pretty easily, but okay.
Well, I guess that's just me then. But
Yeah, maybe you're actually what the problem is here. No, all I'm saying here, all I'm saying is that I don't, to me, I don't think that that's, I'm not saying I'm a fan of algorithms or, like the companies collecting a profile of you. I'm not saying I'm a fan of that. I'm not even saying that that maybe shouldn't be limited. But I'm not, still not seeing a huge distinction drawn if we're going to argue forums versus thread-based social media, or really just social media in general.
I would say Instagram being addictive and the notifications and all this crap that keeps pulling you back or not wanting you to leave in the first place to a developing teen's brain is a huge distinction between going onto a forum for a reason and clicking only what you want to pursue. I think that's a huge. I think saying that's a minor distinction is just incorrect. Again, Reddit is the closest thing to that. Some subreddits, but
I can see how you'd say that it's a problem. And like I just said, I'm not even saying that I think it's a good thing or that it shouldn't be limited. But it's still heavily social. So it gets back to, what is the problem? Is it just the algorithm, or is it so? Because if the problem is socialness online, then you have to include forums.
but that's not just being social online isn't the problem.
So what is? Is it the algorithm?
I would say yeah. That's a large part of it, yeah. And the fact that people post only what they want you to see. In cases like Instagram anyway. Things like that. And when you're in a public school and all your high school friends are on Instagram and they're posting things that they only want you to see, not giving you a clear picture of and contrasting your life to them on a beach. Yeah. I think that's a big difference than clicking on a question that you're interested in on a forum.
And I think I would agree.
But
I think
you
my
still think
mind.
it's a small issue or a small factor, rather?
I think the experience is depending on what we're comparing. If we're comparing Twitter and Instagram to a forum, those are different kinds of media entirely. One being media, actual media, and one being primarily or exclusively just question based topics. So you've got very segregated types of content.
Twitter, I wouldn't say it's. I would say it's more half and half. I think there's a lot more
Well,
media on
Instagram
Twitter
but we can agree
yeah,
that it's
Instagram is
picture-based.
almost exclusively media.
Yeah.
There's only pictures and like your Instagram. What are they called? Story reels, whatever the Snapchat thing on Instagram is called.
And like I said, for thrice the time, this is thrice now. I don't like necessarily algorithms. I do think that tailoring content for a consumer is not necessarily a bad thing, but it depends on the motive and the outcome. And I also would agree that the outcome is poor.
Yeah, I was just
Generally.
about to say, which so far the outcome has been pretty poor, specifically in teenagers, younger teenagers.
So to wrap that whole segment of stupid up, so the conclusion on where do you draw the line is, I guess, in your opinion, forums fine, YouTube what, undecided?
I would say YouTube. I would say I would like YouTube to be allowed. Again, obviously
guess what
that's a
else
lot
here?
more curated than a forum.
Well, I mean, they have
Is-
YouTube Kids. That's the thing. And I'm
Yeah,
not saying that
YouTube.
that's great. I mean, I've been on YouTube Kids. There's some disturbing shit on there too.
Yeah.
But I mean, comments are turned off, you know?
I think that's yeah. I feel like that's for a reason. Maybe I would. I'm gonna bargain with Australia here. Let me. Maybe me and Australia can reach a middle ground here, and maybe just force enable or force disable comments until you're 14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
But I think YouTube has more value to offer than TikTok or Twitter or
I don't know. I don't know if I mean well, I don't know. I don't know if I'd agree with that.
seriously? How can
I
TikTok?
don't it depends on what you are trying to get value from because value is not universal across people. Are you looking for comedy-based sketches?
Yeah, I guess
You know? If you're strictly
comedy can be pretty freaking great
if
on both of
your
them.
value, if your definition of value is I go and watch a long form content that I learn and develop skills, then yeah, YouTube's going to be great. But if your
yeah, I
idea
guess
of value
yeah.
is I want to watch for at most a minute people do funny things, that's pretty valuable. It's like Vine. Vine was valuable to a lot of people. A lot of people still miss it.
Yeah, I guess I was attaching value to education, which
Yeah.
if you're looking for to be educated, unfortunately on most topics there just isn't enough time in 1 minute to get the nuance of
There's a lot
educating
of great
about
there's a lot of
something.
great
But
creators that can teach you something on short form content like that, but generally it's like you dip your toe in it and they say follow me on this other platform so I can go in depth on it.
yeah, there's just no room for nuance on stuff with TikTok, which you know it's a foot in the door type of thing with education on TikTok. But
I think there's a place in the world for short form media, but I do think it well, I want to say it degrades the attention span, but I haven't personally seen the data on that. I'm sure it exists or is going to exist.
I don't know if it yeah, I don't know. I don't know if our attention spans have been getting shorter or if just we've always been this way, because even somebody that's chronically addicted to TikTok can still focus on one thing that they're interested in for a damn while. So like I don't know. There hasn't really been enough conclusive data on that and research that I can fully say that yeah, our attention span is dropping, even though it may from the outside looking in significantly look like that.
Might I offer a solution? Might I? First of all,
Solve this
I
problem.
need to find a goddamn solution for my fucking hair falling into my eyes. That's what I need to do first. But then secondly, I might
Now,
find a solution.
before you go on, I
will
think there's a
stop.
lot of solutions for that.
I can think of two off the top of my head, and one of them costs money, and the other one. Well, the first option is to get my hair cut, and that costs money.
Yeah, I figured that was the money coster.
And then the second one is to put on a hat, and I don't have one in my immediate vicinity, so that's out of the question.
I can tell you, it doesn't always have to cost money. I just had my roommate just buzz me. But
well, if you're
not trying to do that, then
if I wanted to get, then maybe I would do that. But I don't think I'm going to. What was I talking about? Right, might I offer
you're going to solve the problem.
I was literally on the precipice of solving this issue, and I had to take a break. Now, you draw the line between like interconnected social interactions potentially. You know, like in the idea of comparison. That's the issue, right? A lot of the issues comes down to comparison. And like you said,
yeah,
you compare yourself to your friend. Now, granted, your friend could put up a YouTube video theoretically, but it's not the same thing. You know, I think that there's a difference between you post pictures on Twitter, or you go to Twitter and you say, I'm on vacation for the 20th time this year, a lot of fucking piece of shit. And then, or you go on Instagram and take off your thong and show your ass or whatever. And then people go, oh, that makes me sad because my ass isn't got a thong on it, or whatever people say. Right?
You almost, when you're describing how this particular person has been on vacation for the 20th time this year, I almost spat my Gatorade all over my microphone.
Exactly. But I think maybe if you draw the line at like content, well, see, I don't like this very much, the way I'm saying it. Well, okay, I guess you're not outlawing it in general. You're saying that you're limiting a child's access. So you limit the amount of exposure to non-education media just about people's lives, potentially, or
Well,
the
here's the
platforms
thing.
that those exist on.
The algorithm of TikTok in the US and the algorithm of TikTok in China is totally different.
It's a totally different demographic. That makes sense to me.
But here's the thing. In China, the algorithm shows pretty much exclusively like positive things, human accomplishments, you know, inspirational stuff, education, stuff like that. Our US TikTok doesn't do that. It'll serve you whatever is most likely for you to watch, whatever that may be, good or bad.
But that doesn't, yeah, I'll say that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a bad thing. Now, I don't go on TikTok necessarily. I've been on TikTok in a while. But like my YouTube Shorts, which I assume is a similar algorithm, maybe less aggressive, I don't know. But it's mostly comedy. Or like if I have started recently watching YouTube videos about a certain topic, it'll be shorts about those same topics. It's pretty tame.
But here's the thing. In the context of the demographic that we're talking about here, yeah, it's might just be comedy. But the fact that they're serving you the content that is most likely to get you addicted is, even though the content you're watching may not be inherently in itself bad to watch, the addiction and wasting of time is a bad thing.
Well,
because it
but
is so much more likely on a preteen, early teen.
Here's necessarily where I stop you in your tracks. No, necessarily. Is scrolling through YouTube Shorts or TikTok a waste of time? To a lot of people, yes. But who are you to tell me how to use my time? Maybe that's valuable to me. And if it keeps me on there, I'm not saying that it's not addictive. But what's a better alternative for short form media? Do you just get thrown into a massive pile of
Do you
videos?
need short form media?
I think it is another way. It's another creative, expressive medium. And I don't think that it should be outlawed. I'm talking in general right now, not necessarily in the context of children's consumption.
I agree. I don't think it should go away for everybody.
Because I mean, if you just say, well, because here, like, you can't just be like, well, you know, this sort of media is addictive and therefore problematic. Video games are addictive, incredibly so. But you don't just go banning the video game industry because it's an addictive hobby.
Yeah, but it doesn't also I don't know if there's a ton of data on this either. But you know, I might double back on this. What I was going to say was I don't think that, yes, video games are very addictive and they can take up a unbelievable amount of time.
Yeah, how many hours you got in Destiny?
Fuck.
Yeah.
7 honey? 8
Yeah.
honey? So
what could you have learned in 800 hours?
valuable time with my friends.
See, that's my argument for why it's valuable. But continue with your thought.
But I tell you, I'm not getting that valuable time with my friends on TikTok. Regardless, what I was going to say was hours and hours on video games aren't going to literally stunt the mental health of an early teen like some social media does. But I'm not saying I would argue against doing too much of that as well, because it's not like you aren't going to see some downsides from it. You're not going to be, as apt socially. You're probably going to grow to be antisocial. In fact, you're going to be one of those fricks that have anxiety by walking into a Walmart,
Yeah, those fricks,
and it's,
yeah, everybody
fricks.
knows one.
And it's not going to be, well, there's a difference between that being a genetic thing and because it's your own fault because you don't go outside. Regardless, I'm not saying that that's a good thing either, but I don't think video games are quite as... If you were to spend 8 hours a day on your phone, social media,
That's a lot
and
of
8
time.
hours a day playing video games, well, here's the thing. That's not an unrealistic number with teenagers. In fact, that's a low ball,
I don't.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Are we also including YouTube in that again to bring it back to that conversation? Because now I consume a lot of YouTube content, but it's YouTube. I almost treat that as like watching a show, like a TV show.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if that's part of YouTube. I've read a lot of work from Jonathan Haidt, and this is pretty much where his profession is doing research on social media. And I don't know. 8 hours is a low ball in the terms of 16 and under, how much time they spend on their phone, but I don't know what exactly that is what all that entails.
I mean, yeah, I don't. Yeah, what are you doing on your phone? Are we just talking about screen on time or specific? I don't know.
This is anecdotal from kids saying it. This is this is what they said. They were polled. They were asked.
Do we trust
was their
kids
answer.
to say anything accurately though?
I mean,
Kids are fucking stupid. That's my point.
yeah, really. Boil it down. They're stupid. I mean, we can just erase this article right now and call it good because
Yeah.
But no, yeah. So I don't know. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that YouTube wouldn't be a part of that, at least to some degree. I mean, Mr. Beast gets like 100 million views on every video. Surely some of these kids are part of that.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know. I would say that that's probably too long of amount of time to be on.
I was gonna say, yeah, even if you're on your phone for 8 hours and 2 of them are YouTube, there's still 6 other hours there.
That would be, if I had access to
Which is
my
a
phone
lot.
at the moment, I'd love to see what my screen on time is, or just my breakdown of where I spend time on my phone, because I know my phone tracks that. But I don't know. I can't access it at the moment to see. But I bet I spend a lot of time on there. And I don't. But I don't know if it's problematic. Granted, I'm not a youth.
Right. We don't have developing brains that are very susceptible to this.
No, we have developed brains that are still dumb.
Yeah.
Probably because the stunting that happened because there was no research yet.
Right. We are hopeless and fucked, really.
Really.
But so where was I going with that? How much time they spend on their phone? I don't know where I was going with that, but
you were saying we were talking about the difference between playing video games and being on social media.
Oh, right. So if you spend 8 hours a day playing video games and 8 hours a day on social media, what I would define as social media, I think you're going to be better off playing 8 hours of video games. I don't think you should do either, but
But why? To probe. Why?
Because it's not going to be, there's not going to be comparison. There's not going to be
But does social
whatever.
media necessitate comparison? Or is that just a
Of course, it
byproduct of
doesn't
some.
necessitate it. It
Well,
just,
my point being, now I'm not trying to challenge you here, but my point being, instead of banning social media, is there a way to use the algorithm for good? Can we
oh,
constrain the algorithm to
yeah,
certain
I think
times?
the unequivocal answer is yes, but it's not as profitable to do it like that
Well,
because,
okay, but this is how I would approach the companies like that. I'd be like, okay, either we can just get kids off of your platforms until they're old enough and they're not on there at all, or you can release a kids edition or something that has more kid friendly subject matter, and then you can still serve ads or something. I don't know. Not that I think advertisement for children is great, but I think there are okay ways to integrate that. It's profit. It's
well,
better on both ends, I think.
I think that would be a, I think that amount of nuance rather than just cutting cold turkey would be ideal, but
Yeah.
I also think that's probably unrealistic for a governing organization to do something like that. Speaking of which, actually, another article on this. Um, a coalition of 42 state and territory attorneys general, is calling on Congress to pass regulation requiring warning labels on social media platforms.
Hmm. What do the warnings say?
Um,
Warning: you are entering a social media platform. It's not very helpful.
a warning the basically warning the mental health risks of using it, forcing um, these companies to post a basically warning when you download the app, I guess, that states the mental health um, risk that you're posing by using it. There's also not a lot of information that I can see on this, but it also is referencing specifically youth. So I would imagine this would be a early teen sort of implementation.
I mean, I don't know what good a warning label's gonna do,
I don't.
but
If you're an early teen, you're not going to give a damn.
you're gonna go. That shit doesn't apply to me. Psh,
Yeah, I'm resilient.
yeah.
I'm 13.
I'm a lot wiser
Yeah.
back when I was 12.
Yeah, the letter cites research linking social media use to anxiety, depression, and suicidal ideation in young people, along with studies that suggest social platforms disrupt children's sleep with irresistible algorithmic recommendations, infinite scrolling, and a constant stream of notifications to keep them, quote, relentlessly engaged on the platform.
Yeah, no, going back to the earlier conversation, I agree. I think that the certain aspects of the algorithm can be damaging, definitely. I also think, like I said a little bit ago, I think it can be a good or at the very least maybe fine
Yeah,
addition.
if it could be made for good, I don't think we would be having a problem at all.
Yeah, because then at that point, all you're doing is getting served content that you like, and I have no
Yeah.
problem with that. I like things that I like.
Yeah, if the algorithm
Matter of
could be
fact,
altered.
matter of fact, I would have much more problem if that wasn't the case, and I was scrolling through my YouTube Shorts, watching the videos I like to see, and then I get a ad, or not an ad, but a video of some woman being like, "Hey, ladies, this is how you wear a tampon." Like, this is no use to me. Okay,
Right. Yeah, algorithmic lists is not the answer, obviously.
right.
But I think Yeah, in a perfect world, there would be a reworking of how these social media algorithms work. But in that reworking, it wouldn't be as addictive, which means they wouldn't get to serve as many ads that get seen, which means they wouldn't be in the app for as long, which means less money. So that's not really going to happen.
I just keep thinking, and maybe it is unrealistic, but the best solution is to find a way to, like we just said, have a better, healthier algorithm, and for specifically children to tailor the experience to something that's not a negative force, and maybe even in some
That's
aspects
what it is in
educational.
China, for specifically TikTok. That's what it is.
They should do that here.
I agree. I think we've come to an agreement here.
Here's what we should do. We should get on all kids' phones should come with a VPN, and then they use the VPN to appear in China, and then open TikTok.
Hey, whoever company is providing that VPN is going to get freaking rich.
Exactly.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and then they'll just have a bunch of content that's based around Chinese culture, and then it'll just be equally as confusing.
Yeah, and great human accomplishments and education, but specifically for China, that has nothing to do with us. Yeah, that'd be good.
I think we have the solution personally.
Yeah, I mean, did we? Was there ever a doubt that we would solve this entire United States wide, even worldwide problem? Is there? No, we would solve it, and we knew we would.
Took some arguments to get there, but we got there in the end.
We got there. Hey, hard work don't come easy.
Hard work don't come. You heard it here first.
Hard work don't come. So Huawei, that place I got that phone manufacturer that got banned in the U.S.
I know that Huawei. I did not know it got banned. That's probably old news. I never really heard that.
Oh man, 7 years ago.
Yeah,
6 years ago.
I guess I never really heard of that.
Yeah,
I never wasn't paying attention.
They
What was the reason?
I believe they were found with like some hardware level stuff in their in the phones being shipped to the US that was spying.
Oh, hey, that's pretty bad.
So they got banned. But hey, they're still a huge company outside the US.
Sure.
Like, massive. Like they're close to like Xiaomi in size. I think they might be bigger than Xiaomi. I don't know. Regardless, they're releasing a new phone, and so folding phones are cool.
Oh, I know where you're going. Didn't I send you this? Or maybe I didn't.
This was in the morning brew.
Oh, see, I'm 99% certain I know what you're gonna talk about, and I either did or almost sent you a link to it, or like a couple days ago.
Well, it's super interesting, and the trailer for it is absolutely hilarious.
We've yet to tell the audience what it is, first of all.
Yeah, well, we're getting there. If I wasn't rudely interrupted, we'd be getting there.
All right, everybody, hold on. You're about to find out what we've been talking about for about 2 minutes.
So this phone that they're releasing is $2,800.
Yeah, it is.
$2,800. That's insane. And it's a folding phone, and folding phones are expensive. Usually they're like $1,800, the ones here, but this is a folding phone with 2 seams, 2 creases, 2 folds. So all folded up, all collapsed. It's your normal candy bar phone, candy bar style phone. But there's one side. So if you have a candy bar style phone, usually it just flips out like that. And there's your fold. This one has 3 layers. One flips out like that. And then another layer flips out like that. That was wrong. It flips out like that. And then another one from the back flips out like that. Okay. So it's like an accordion.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's like an accordion. You can, if you pull it from the top and bottom sides, it will fully unravel. And it's huge. Like what? Like 10.2 inches unfolded.
Jesus.
It's literally a tablet unfold, like a big tablet.
That is straight up. I believe, around the size of, what, like an iPad Mini, something like
I
that.
think it's bigger than an iPad Mini.
I forget how big an iPad Mini is. iPad Mini.
Yeah, what's the size of an iPad Mini? Because I think that's actually bigger. iPad Mini's like 9, I think. But unfolded.
8.3 inch. 8.3
Yeah,
inch?
iPad Minis. Okay, yeah. So iPad Minis are
Jeez.
small, bro. Yeah, so this
Wow.
is significantly bigger than an iPad Mini unfolded.
Good lord.
It's crazy, and it's like I think the unfolded like the thinnest phone ever potentially.
It'd almost have to be, unless you're carrying around a brick at that point.
Yeah, folded up. It's got 64. It's not 64. 16 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage at base. So it's 5600 milliamp hour battery,
Oh my
66
God.
watt charging.
I'm just reading an article. They're just talking about the price. It said that's roughly $300 more than a brand new 16-inch MacBook Pro. Good God.
Yeah, I see that part. Yeah, that's you could get a brand new MacBook Pro or this phone. Oh my gosh, dude, I could get. Holy cow, I would. So I just bought a laptop, and it was a really lot of money. It was $1,700, and I could have spent another $1,100 and got this phone instead.
Well, you'd be
And I
broke.
about threw up when I bought that thing.
Yeah. You'd be
Hey,
broke.
but what's another 1,100?
You'd be broke, but you'd have a phone that's probably going to break. So that's cool.
Yeah, probably. This is the first of its kind. But I mean, shoot, you got to start somewhere. Dude, have you seen
Yeah.
the commercial for it?
I have not.
Dude, it's so funny. It's so funny. It's literally this guy, this like super billionaire businessman, stock investor guy. Like,
Okay.
yeah, and he's got this phone in a suit, probably a suit and tie more than our houses, and he pulls out this phone and walks out of his tower that he owns, and walks into the back of this like super luxury Mercedes looking thing, and he uses it and he unfolds it all the way, and there's like a stock list on the screen that he's looking at.
Wow,
And it's just
dude.
and it's so and he goes to like this let me scroll through this a little bit. He goes to like this billionaire meetup of a bunch of billionaires, and he is like the star of the show and shows his phone.
Oh
It's
my
so
God.
it basically signifying that if you own, well, you probably have to make this guy's income if you're gonna buy this thing. So that's probably why they made it that way.
Exactly. They're defining the target audience.
Yeah, that's their target audience. Extremely expensive, super high class of individual to purchase this thing, which
Now-
I thought was really funny.
Now, what I'm going to tell you is that I like it a lot.
I think it's sick. I think it looks so sick. It looks so cool. I mean, it probably is. It's the first of its kind, so like it's gonna break probably
Yeah.
early. And
No,
software support is just straight up not gonna be there.
I definitely would never buy this, especially now. Like, being new.
Right.
This is the kind of thing. This is kind of honestly, this is how I feel about the foldable market in general. And foldables have been around for a while now.
Like 6 years.
But I keep just thinking, like, you know what? I can't. It's not the time. They're still working it out. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Not only that, but they haven't really gotten cheaper.
No,
They haven't-
They're equally as the only way that it's gotten cheaper is the Moto. What was that? The Moto Razor
Flipping phones,
Well,
those are cheaper.
Well, no, I'm talking specifically. I'm thinking that's the Moto Razor, so it is the flipping one, not the folding. But there's specifically a budget model of it. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's like several models of Moto Razors,
Right, but yeah,
and there's some
the
like
one that's
$600 ones.
Yeah, there's one like the $600 one, and that's
Yeah.
still expensive, but that's definitely in an affordable range for most
Right.
phones.
So flipping phones, they are coming down in price Folding phones, not so much. They kind of
Granted,
just
you gotta think the difference between a folding phone and a flipping phone. That crease is like twice as big, twice as long.
oh yeah,
So I mean, that's probably the reason.
right. And the phone's just way because with a flipping phone, you're not putting any more real estate into it than you would just a normal phone.
That's true.
It's just
That's
smaller.
true.
A flipping phone is you're putting like 3 times the real estate that you would be.
And then this phone,
And this phone, well, it's $2,800 because you're putting it's effectively a phone on the outside, and then unfolded, it's like 3 phones next to each. Well, it's 10 inches. It's 10.2 inches. It's a tablet. It's huge.
yeah,
It's crazy. Like if you want, here's the thing: if you're the type of person to buy a high end phone and a high end tablet, like an S9 and like an S24, if we'll just say you're a Samsung guy,
yeah,
a Tab S9 and an S24. Well, then you're not even to $2,000 yet. So instead of add a grand to that, and then you get a phone that's not as good and a tablet that's not as good
I was just about to
as
say
them
that.
separately.
You hear that so many times with like 2-in-1s or things that are trying to accomplish multiple tasks, and it's like, it is both things, but it's not particularly good at either.
Yeah, that's just kind of the early adopter of a multitasking device syndrome. It seems
But
like
I mean,
anyway.
like in general, I think that's almost still the consensus with 2-in-1s. Like it's. I think they're fine. Honestly,
Yeah.
2-in-1s are kind of fine as laptops. I think. I don't. Maybe that's a little over exaggerated.
I think
but,
laptops with detachable keyboards are absolutely, yeah. They're granted. It depends on what you want it for, because if it's video games, no, it's trash. But
Yeah.
the power is just not there.
You got to sacrifice power in that form factor.
Yeah.
But then you flip it around, and it's people say that it's not a great tablet experience because you're running stock
usually
Windows.
it's running something like Windows,
Yeah.
and you can't get a great tablet experience on Windows. But here's the thing: if you get an iPad, like an iPad Pro, like one of those big 12-inch guys, and get a keyboard for it, it's not going to be quite as good as a Mac.
Right. But it's going to be an
be great as
exceptional
a
tablet.
touch device. It's going to be an exceptional tablet. So like, even 2-in-1 computers, I think, unless you have a specific use case that works well for it being in laptop form that you would want it for, and when you want to touch it, whatever you're trying to do in its tablet form also works well for it. Other than that, it's just not. I mean, there's also just laptops that are touch that aren't detachable.
Right.
Maybe that's where you find a middle ground.
Right.
The point being is in that space, there's actually a lot of good options for, stuff to fit your needs. In the phone space, I don't know if that's the case, really. There's not. I feel like the demographic for something like a folding phone, even a tri-folding phone, is way lower.
Right. Yeah.
So like,
I mean, I don't know if really even the folding phone market has really taken off. I mean, people like them. I'm not going to lie. People like folding phones. But people still buy, granted, I mean, at least in America, Apple holds so much of the market share for that.
Yeah, I think
they don't have a folding phone.
Right. I think if you're for people 25 or 20 something and under, I think like over 70% have iPhones. It's wild.
Of course, they don't have a folding phone, so maybe if Apple had a folding phone, they'd be more out on the streets.
But that would happen. If Apple releases a folding phone adoption in general would skyrocket for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's just how it
the
works.
folding phone market, specifically folds and not flips, it kind of satisfies that not quite, but in a way that phone to tablet transition. This just does that plus more size.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just am struggling. I'm not gonna say it's not practical because it is simply two devices in one in a lot of ways.
If you're looking
But
from a practicality standpoint in a vacuum, it's actually the most practical.
right.
Yeah. But yeah,
But it's $2,800 and and you just know it's gonna break.
right. Yeah. You can get a Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra, which is like a 14.6-inch tablet. It's nearing just straight up a monitor in your hands. In fact, that's bigger than some laptops. And then, which is, I think that's like $1,000. And, or no, it's 1,200. And then you buy, what's the most expensive candy bar phone I can think? You buy a fully spec'd out iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I think that's like 1,500. And you're
Sounds about right.
$300 short of this phone alone. No, you're $100 short of this phone alone. For the highest end, each individual devices on their own you can buy.
But when you think about it this way, in a lot of ways, it's a tablet you could put in your pocket.
That's true. Yeah. If you're arguing portability and like, I want to bring this on a plane with me, but I don't want to shove my tablet in my bag. Now you got an argument.
How often can you really say I put my 10-inch tablet in my pocket?
Unless you got some like clown shorts on, you really can't.
That's what I'm saying. This is about the only way to get it done.
Right. So like, maybe if you're the like maybe 15 people on Earth that need that. But there's also, if something comes like, this is Huawei. There's no one in the US that can even have this unless it's imported. And even then it's not going to have US frequency bands. So like, this is out of the question for us, unfortunately. But there's going to be people that are buying it because it's an evolving like it's a up and coming technology. It's new, it's cool, it's different. And people either are okay with going into debt and buying things they can't afford, or
that's most
they
people.
have a lot of money. So like,
there you go.
I think in the, it's not in the article. I think somewhere it was stated that there were already over. Hold on, I'm gonna find this. It was stated somewhere that there were already over 5 million like pre-orders.
Jesus Christ! I mean, 5 million in the span of humanity is not necessarily huge, but that is quite a bit of people.
Let's see. Yeah, the $2,800 price tag hasn't turned people away, even if it's a lot to pay for a product reminiscent of a travel brochure. The phone already has 5 million pre-orders. Per Huawei, though, many analysts expect sales to be a modicum of that number because the model is difficult to make.
Right.
It's not surprising.
Right.
But yeah, it's likely that there won't be 5 million sales of this, but it's a damn cool device. It is a damn cool phone.
I would love to get my fingies on it. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, and I don't see anything. I mean, Xiaomi and Huawei are just like doing stuff with phones. They just kind of like do things. Well, I mean, they're like anti-Apple in that way, where Apple just kind of like doesn't do things with the phone unless it's been tried and tested for like 5 years by some other company, and then they'll put it in their phone in the Apple way. Xiaomi and Huawei are just like, we might be able to make this work, so let's ship it. Which I like. I think I think cool. Those companies are valuable.
I would definitely say that that's really cool. Well, and I would like to get one.
Yeah,
but I can't.
we're getting it imported. It would be even more expensive for us. And maybe illegal. I don't know if it's illegal to import band.
I mean,
Like if you own a
maybe.
Deep Cool product right now, are you being in illegal? I don't think so.
I doubt it.
I think it's just not allowed to be sold.
I doubt it.
Let's end this.
That's fair.
Let's bring this to a wrap. We're over about a little over an hour.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for listening. We're gonna keep calling to action here. Like the damn video. Comment on the damn video.
Do both.
Rate us on Spotify.
Hell yeah, bro.
And comment on Spotify.
Yeah. And everybody does all of those things. That you don't pick one now.
Yeah, I'm not. Those aren't options to pick from. Those are you do that or don't.
But specifically, don't, because that's not an option.
But yeah, but don't do.
And we have to end it here.
Yeah,
Thank you everybody
we'll
so
see
much
you
for
next
watching. Peace out.